The suspect in Saturday night's deadly shooting at the Two Brothers Roundhouse may have found the victim's location through social media. Officers confirmed 24-year-old Jasmine Barclay and 43-year-old Brian Heineman were killed, and a 33-year-old man remains in critical condition. Investigators say Heineman, who had previously dated Barclay, confronted the pair on an upstairs balcony before opening fire and then taking his own life. The Roundhouse has since reopened, and police are urging anyone affected by the tragedy to reach out to local crisis resources or share any information that could help the investigation. In Naperville, a GoFundMe has been launched for the family of 53-year-old Stephen Weigensberg, who was shot and killed at his Arlington Heights workplace on Friday. Police say a co-worker, 53-year-old Juan Medina, took his own life after fatally shooting Weigensberg. The fundraiser aims to raise $40,000 to support Weigensberg's children and help cover immediate needs. Loved ones remember him as generous, community-minded, and deeply devoted to his family. Annually, Thanksgiving is the busiest travel holiday of the year, and this year is no different. Expect records to be broken with nearly 82 million traveling at least 50 miles from home, according to AAA. The domestic travel forecast includes an additional 1.6 million travelers compared to 2024, which sets a new overall record. It will mark the fifth straight year to see an increase in travelers compared to the prior year, following a major dip in 2020 due to the pandemic. Health officials are warning Illinois residents to expect a possible post-Thanksgiving bump in emergency room visits driven by COVID, RSV, and a newly mutated flu strain. A variant of influenza H3N2 called subclade K is spreading across North America and isn't covered by this year's flu shot. Experts say it can hit hard with classic flu symptoms striking suddenly. Right now, overall respiratory illness levels in Illinois remain low, but flu activity is rising slightly, and officials are watching wastewater data for a clearer picture later this week. I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Iowa men's basketball off to a 5-0 start. Today, they take on the Ole Miss Rebels. The Hawkeyes women ranked number 11 in the AP Top 25. They'll play tomorrow against Western Illinois. Last night, the number 15 Iowa State Cyclones improved to 5-0. They nipped number 14 St. John's 83-82. They play again this afternoon against Creighton. The Cyclones women ranked number 10 in the nation. They play again on Friday against Marquette. NBA, the Pelicans beat the Bulls 143-130 last night. Ayu Dosunmu had 28 points. The Bulls dropped to 9-8 on the season. The Bears coming off Sunday's 31-28 victory over the Steelers at 8-3-0. They sit atop the NFC North. Quick turnaround. They play at 2 Central this Friday on the road at Philadelphia. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast, brought to you by Hot Hands, America's favorite hand warmers. A wind advisory is in effect until 9 p.m. CST this evening. Today, a strong chance of snow showers with cloudy skies and a high near 34. Windy conditions with gusts up to 55 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 24. Currently, it is 34 degrees and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wines and beers all nestled on shelves. Got some advice from our helpful elves. Oh, so many gifts to explore when you go to Total Wine and more. Bottles so delightful, whoa. Price so amazingly low.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly.
Before the weather gets too cold, it's time to finish up those outdoor jobs. That's why ComEd wants you to know that electricity can jump from a power line to you and to the tools you're using. So maintain a safe distance from any power lines. You can also call ComEd at 1-800-EDISON-1 to have those power lines de-energized the next time you do any work around them. Stay smart, stay safe, stay back. ComEd, powering lives.
When it comes to orthopedic and spine surgery, Prime Healthcare St. Joseph Hospital in Elgin leads the way. Recognized by U.S. News and World Report as a high performer across multiple surgery types, we offer advanced and minimally invasive procedures supported by state-of-the-art imaging technology. Our expert surgeons and compassionate care teams are here to help you move, heal, and live better every step of the way. St. Joseph Hospital in Elgin, exceptional care close to home.
You are with Jennifer Sanchez. We are super excited to be here today. So, I am the founder of the Wise Alliance Network. You go to wisealliancenetwork.com. Also, the Women's Institute of Self-Development Efficacy, WISE for short. Of course, we have, this coffee chat show that I've been running since actually COVID was when we started. And then thankfully now we're on WRMN 1410. So this is super exciting. And I am here with our guest, Suli. So Suli, can you introduce yourself for the viewers, please?
Hey, you guys. My name is Suli Jimenez. I'm the owner of Tall Revolution Boutique and a mompreneur.
Mompreneur, fashion. And then I was also noticing that you also have your backgrounds in fashion, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I went to Columbia College for fashion merchandising and business administration. My aunt and my mom have sewn seamstress. Well, not never worked as a seamstress, but just knows how to make clothing. So anytime when I wanted to make anything or when I wanted to create my first clothing line, I went to my aunt. She was
Wow.
like the first one in our family to know how to make clothing from scratch, from A to Z.
Oh,
So,
that's super
yeah.
cool. Oh, that's super cool. So, for those that are watching, again, you're watching the Wise Coffee Chat Show on WRMN 1410. And of course, we love to talk about coffee here, right? So, I know that she doesn't
Yeah,
even know what kind of coffee I poured out for her, but how do
I
you
just know it's coffee.
how do you take your coffee? Since we're all coffee lovers here.
So lately, I've actually been on a journey with mushroom coffee.
Oh, you've been doing
So
the
just
mushroom
try,
coffee.
yeah. I've been doing because I've noticed what was it that when rice started to come out, that kind of started to spark the interest, and then I noticed a couple cafes had chaga mushrooms, and I'm like, oh, let me read up what's going on with these mushrooms and coffee, and yeah, if I'm gonna have my caffeine, at least make it a little smidge healthier.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing. I am getting back to vegetarian, vegan lifestyle. So oat milk, so I have like oat milk, coconut milk, almond milk, and then a little bit of agave, trying to replace that sugar.
Oh, agave, yes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I remember when all the rice coffee came out, and then I was doing the rice coffee too, but now I'm on the what is it? Gano XL.
Yes.
The Gano XL girls, right? They'll kill me
Yes.
if I don't mention them, right? But I've been doing them. I've been doing that coffee also. But right now I'm plain black coffee. I didn't even put no cream, no sugar. So everyone knows, like, I'm a true believer that real coffee, I don't even know what the word is for them, concierge. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Experts in the coffee area, they when they know what's good black coffee, like they know what's good coffee when they drink it black. I don't know.
That's like the little Cuban coffees. It's so tiny, but there's power in that little cup.
That those little cups. Yeah. I remember when I was actually intern at a marketing company in downtown when I was in my early 20s. I think I was like 21 or something like that. I will never forget my supervisor at that time. She made a cortadito, right?
Uh-huh.
And I never seen those little machine apparatus things to make it, and it just looked like chocolate, like just chocolate thick syrup. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "You're gonna drink that?" I'm sitting there like, but it was actually like this really strong. It was really good. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, now I see what this is about. So pretty cool. So tell us, Suli, a little bit about your journey Why fashion? What, and I'm excited for you to share your business, more about your business,
Mhm.
but how did you fall into fashion besides your mom and stuff like that?
I've always liked clothing. So I never knew I was going to be a business owner or fashion was going to be my career. As a little kid, you would have asked me, I would have said, but I always liked clothing and fashion. I was always a bigger girl. I always struggled with my weight. So through trying to style myself, that's how I'll get away from those body issues. And then keeping it real, coming back in the 90s, they didn't really have any clothes that fit properly for bigger girls or even a Latina body here.
I love
No.
that.
So that was the struggle. So it was just trying to make good out of a bad situation. Being
What? That
shopping.
makes a lot of I don't think those attire or the plus size
Mhm.
attire really came out until maybe about what, 15 years ago, I want to
Mhm.
say.
Yeah.
Maybe I think I saw it in my early 20s when I started paying
Yeah.
attention. The only reason why I remember is because that Kim K had that curvy line. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember that. It was literally called like curves or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love their dresses, right? Because their dresses just made sense for Hispanic,
Yeah.
black and brown bodies, right? So that's actually pretty cool. That's how you fell into it. So, what is your mission now in the fashion world, or at least tell us a little bit about what you're doing
So
now?
going to school, okay, so originally I was going for nursing school. Once I finished my CNA and I had to go through that clinical process, I was like, no, I'm only picking this career because I want to satisfy my family. I don't like this. I had a couple of passion at the time IADT. So I fell in love with it. It was hard to convince my family, like, "Yeah, I'm dropping out of nursing school and I'm going to fashion school." In the Latino family, they're like, "Fashion school? What's that? Is that even a real job?" Oh my God. But you know what? I didn't care. Necia. I got what I wanted.
You- what does necia mean for those who don't speak Spanish?
I don't listen.
Don't listen.
It's actually good. Maybe that's how I ended up being an entrepreneur. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So you were supposed to go into nursing school. You said no, that's not my passion. There's so many students that pursue careers that they're not really passionate about, and then wonder why people are miserable, after a certain amount of years in
Yeah.
positions. But it's because they never really pursued their
Your
dreams.
dreams. And it's funny because in high school, a couple of friends will have that conversation. Because it was already like we're already starting our college career. So we'll sit there and talk about like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna pick something that makes you like content or you're happy? But you're happy, but you're probably not making dollars. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna make it in this fashion thing. I don't know much about the careers in it, but I just know I like it. I kind of shadowed her in class. I loved it, fell in love with it. That's what created me here today. Now, I always thought I was gonna be a famous designer. I didn't know I was gonna be under the clothes because now
Under
I'm
the
still
garments or undergarments.
garments. So
Yeah.
it's still the same thing, but it kind of tied two different lifestyles. I love fashion, but I also struggled with weight, and that was a whole separate issue that I just a personal issue, and I didn't know that I was gonna be a merger of both, because that's what I feel my story is. It was my journey, my solution, me getting through this, like, I gotta get skinny. Now I don't believe in getting skinny. I believe in let's get healthy because there's a little more value to that. But in the 90s, I'm a 90s baby. Back then, 2000s is very, very different from when I grew up. Me growing up, a bigger girl, there was no love your body, nothing. There was more like,
Body
what's
positivity.
mhm,
There was no
none
body
of that.
positivity.
Oh my God. The comments. And then it comes from people that now we expect to give us that body positivity, to teach us that self love and confidence. But back then, those were the first ones to critique you on the way that you looked
Yeah.
and all of that. And that just kind of got me into a desperate, like, just desperate to lose weight. So,
Yeah, I mean, even if you think about like the magazines in the 90s, or you think about
Hmm.
like the models in the 90s, or Pamela
Just like the
Anderson.
booty.
Yeah,
Back then, no, big butts. You were fat if you had a big butt.
yeah, you were not. Yeah, exactly. And like that was like, wait, what is that, right? But back then, when we were growing up, it was more of the top heavy women, right?
Yeah.
Those type of bodies.
Hmm.
And then of course, thin, right? Like the thin silhouette.
Yeah. Huh.
Um, and
Not
we never saw the curves being promoted.
No, we didn't have representation.
There was no representation.
So,
I agree.
and now we have a lot more representation. And that's why I treat my business the way that I treat it. I tell people it's more than just a faja. Through vanity, I will heal you. Because yes, when we're putting on a faja, we're thinking about just our image, how we want to look. But I figured out with a shape or garments, it can be utilized as a tool to make certain changes and to kind of get you through that little hardship when we're trying to eat healthy. Sometimes we still feel a little hungry after we're not fully satisfied, or while we're trying to work out, if we're not doing the right posture, the workout sucks and I feel extra beat up. So she's kind of like your little assistant.
Yeah. No, I love so fajas are the undergarments or the
Mhm.
waist trainers,
Yep.
right? If
The
it's the
shapewear.
shapewears, people
Yeah.
don't see it. It's actually a big cultural thing for Hispanic
Hmm.
people. And I think it became a mainstream thing, but before it became a mainstream thing, I knew about these because I saw
Yep.
moms and grandmas.
Tia, moms, they all had it. They at some point in our lives, we were introduced to our first
Yes, we were, and then especially if you have had children, what's the first thing? Where
Bajate.
Majate, yeah, where are you from? What's your
So I'm Guatemalan, and I got introduced to the Colombian shaper through one of my Colombian friends that I worked with when I worked at a car dealership. I always knew about fajas, and the only place that I knew to try to find one was kind of more like the flea market.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
have like the right ones. A lot of those are knockoffs. I learned that the hard way. And the way I learned it the hard way was I had one faja and it just kept stretching. Now I had a serger, so I was like, I'm just gonna keep like making it smaller to the point where I was like, I have no fabric left.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's funny. And I love that you're sharing that because again, it's a big part of our
yeah.
Hispanic culture, right? And I remember seeing fajas all my life. It
Mhm.
was just like they were in the closets, right? Like we knew they existed. And it wasn't a second thought. It was kind of, and it was funny because once I started having kids, it was actually my in-laws that were so adamant about me wearing putting on a faja after
Yeah.
having kids. They're like, they put it on. They would like get so upset with me if they saw me without it. They were like, "No, you need to do that to put everything back in place after having this kid, getting bouncing back from
Yeah.
from birth, right?"
Yep.
So, and I've been a religious I mean, I've had fajas from some of your team
Yep.
members, right? So like I love and then they even go my ex's family would go to Mexico.
Mhm.
They'd be like, "No, the ones over here ain't good. We need to go to Mexico, to this town," right? That's kind of how we did it. So, yeah, it's actually I love fajas. So, but and then you choose specific fajas for your brand, correct?
Yes. So like going back to the whole after you give birth, every culture has some form of binding. And by binding, I mean it's like some form of compression garment that you wear after you have kids. There's African cultures that they have like this long pleat like fabric and they just twist it in a certain way. And there's Indian cultures that do the same thing too. And the women will wear it right after giving birth because yeah, our organs are swollen, everything is swelling. It's to help reduce the swelling. It's help us with like our posture, back support. So it's been a cultural thing. It's just, maybe their fajas look a little different than our fajas, but it's
Sure.
been a part of every culture. Now, I do prefer mine to come from Colombia. I have done a lot of research, tried other manufacturers, and Colombia just because they make their own fabrics. They make the fabric, they make their own lycra, their own nylon to produce these fajas. So that material I can't find anywhere else.
Okay.
There's some that comes close to it, but it's just the compression of it And then the softness, it hasn't been able to been replicated.
Yeah, no, the one that you have is like definitely the kind that are in Mexico that I bought before. I'm like, no, this is like that hardcore, like
Yeah.
this you're wearing like an armor, you know, like it's bulletproof.
It-
If
I wonder if
it's that sometimes I'll be like, oh, but I love that you're doing this and I love that it's all about body positivity. I don't think it's vanity at all in my opinion, because at the end of the day, like you said, body posture, right?
Mhm.
You might not overeat because you're a little extra tight
Yep.
in the organs, you know. And then I know that it it shapes you. It
hmm
shapes you, right? So can you talk a little bit about that?
So it does help contour your body. The more that you wear it, the better it works. But we also got to put in our little work, right? Because the faja is helping to reduce inches, it is helping you lose weight. But there is also the other thing of skin, flaccid skin. So with that, we need toning, we need weightlifting, we need to like work out with it. In order to lose a little more weight, we need to like eat better. I don't believe in dieting. So that's why I said she's like your assistant. The more that you do, the better that she works. We work together, not
That's not
separately.
separate. So where exactly, I know you have a storefront. What made you choose, right? Because when we go into business as entrepreneurs, sometimes people want brick and mortars, people don't want brick and mortars for the things that you do. Why did you choose a brick and mortar?
So it was in 2015. So it was still kind of like in that time where we're in the middle. Like e-commerce is really taking off, but it's not everybody's fully online shopping. I feel like the internet world bursted after COVID, after we were forced to be in home and we were
Yeah,
forced to live online, right? We
yeah,
socialized online, we shopped online, we did everything online.
yeah.
Zoom, all of those applications were available prior to COVID. We just didn't really utilize them until then. So in 2015, the store made sense. I'm like, we're still like, it was the birth of like hashtags at that time
Oh yeah.
and Instagram. So it was kind of coming up there, but I didn't want to gamble everything on a e-store. And then also I always believe because when I shopped for Fajas before as a bigger girl, nobody really ever measured me and never got to try them on. I was buying these things, they were uncomfortable, they were tight. Back then I felt they weren't made in bigger sizes. They were still kind of catered to the skinny girl, not so much the bigger girl. So they have came a long way since 2015, again with this whole birth of body positivity and stuff as well. But I wanted to always do a fitting. I always felt it was necessary. And then I wanted to always show everybody my trick, the whole lifting and adjusting thing. It's hard to do that online unless I'm doing one-on-one video
Oh,
consultations,
that's a good.
and that's something that we're still trying to figure out. How can we perfect the online shopping process? Because we want that little personal touch to it.
Yeah, yeah, and trust me, for those that are watching that agree or disagree, when you're putting on these like body ones, not
hmm
just the like the waist one, I'm talking about the body ones. You're like fighting. It's like a battle for like a nice 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, it's worse if you're like straight out the shower.
Oh,
Oh,
that's funny actually.
it like
Because
suction cups to your body.
everything, yeah, it's hard to put on any clothes right and you're wet. Yeah, that's trust. I get it. I've had my moments. I've worn all different types. And there's some really, like you said, there's some really good ones. I really like the brand that you have, because I personally have that brand that you got. I think it's great, and I think sometimes you just need that little umph to feel confident
hmm
too. I think that's another thing because you keep talking about body positivity and healthy and the body image. I think Hispanic women and black and brown women, right? We're set with standards that are from our
Uh-huh.
counterparts, our European counterparts, and our bodies are not created like our
Like that.
European
No.
counterparts, right?
No.
Uh, their bodies are different, and our bodies are different. So that's why it's like like you said, hard to shop, right?
Yeah.
When clothing's made for a specific type of body type. How are you? But I love that you're about no, I want to feel confident. I want to, help with clothing for our bigger women and just be beautiful.
And one thing that I love about our products is that we come in different cuts and shapes.
Sure.
Yeah, we all want the hourglass, but as women, we have our own hourglass. Some of us, like before, we might be more top heavy, more bottom heavy. With the second job that I have, we're actually introducing our fajas into the wholesale for different boutiques and more mainstream. But with that too is opening up different demographics. Now we're going to be coming into a Caucasian market as well. Now it's also understanding like their bodies are different than ours. Ours might
Yeah.
be a little more compressive. So it's like interesting me going through that journey with my manufacturers, just kind of like understanding like, okay, when we go, you guys have these shops in Alabama, and what products do you guys sell like in Alabama? And what's the difference there from, let's say, our Miami girls or our New York girls? Like,
Yeah.
what are they looking for? And it is really different. So that's one thing what I like about my manufacturers, that we have a range for everybody from low, mid to high compression to like exaggerated curves to less curves to like just different types. That's why we keep referring back to that whole fitting, and we stick with the brick and mortars because it's hard to do that. Like, and especially if people don't know how to measure. Like, I can ask them, send me your measurements, but maybe she didn't measure on the widest part of her hip. She probably went on the shorter part. That's gonna throw off
Mess
the
everything off. Yeah. Do you measure above the belly button? And
bill. Yeah.
yeah, like I get it. I was like, how many measurements do you guys need? But it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know it's like it sounds so complicated. I'm sure males or even these guys here are like zoning out.
They're
They're
just
like,
like they're using math or fast.
like, why do you have to do that, right? I will never forget in Mexico years ago. I was there with my mom and my dad and my aunt and her husband. And at that time, my aunt was selling fajas. Like it was like the Avon, like
Yeah.
like Avon and Mary Kay, like they were doing like the faja version,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And I just remember my dad like, guys are like tricking us, like he was kind
He
of
was
like,
mad.
yeah,
He's like, oh, that's how she got me.
yeah, yeah. He was like, this is a fraud. I'm like, really? Like, and I'm sitting there like, must have been like 12 years old or
I always
11
tell
years
them,
old.
like, sir, so are your hats. They've been frauding us for many, many years. They've just
From the
changed
hairline.
styles.
That's so
Yes.
funny.
Top hats, baseball caps, cowboy hats. Y'all been frauding us for years.
That's a good point, right? They're hiding their hairlines.
Like,
No. But I again, this is awesome, and I think just having more conversation around it is much needed, right? And especially with what you're doing, because you also do fashion shows, right? Like
mhm.
I've seen, like I think this last year we've been talking more
Yeah.
lately, right? Through Blave, I think that's how I
Uh-huh.
introduced you. But prior, I've heard of you. I've seen you because of some of your what would you call them? They're your coworkers, your partners.
Uh-huh. So I am doing kind of similar to the whole Avon thing as well
Yeah.
too. Just trying to figure out we're doing more reps, but in a sense, I don't want to do the MLM structure. I'd rather them be like shoppers. So they're kind of like, I get them to the point so they can become an independent boutique that I wholesale to. But
Uh,
they start off as a customer. So then I have to kind of teach them. So in the beginning, they're just kind of like a rep. I'm wholesaling to them. We're starting off with pop ups to the point where I feel like, okay, I think money wise and knowledge wise, you're like ready to run a shop. And that's how we started with me. She just started off as a customer, had a great transformation, great story. I loved her discipline. And then her being a teacher, I love how she articulated herself as well too. So and then she was all the way by Midway, and I'm like, you know how many people I have over there in the drive? I hear the complaints. It's an hour and a half. I gotta go pee. Where's your bathroom? I'm like, you're right there. It will make so much your a convenience factor. You're getting a piece of pie. My customers are not complaining. We're all happy.
well, you're the supplier, right?
Yeah.
Buying product to your partners, and then they're taking the
Hmm.
orders. Right? That's awesome. I think that so you're helping people even be
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Because it's like as entrepreneurs, we're always looking for that problem and then finding that solution. And sometimes there's problems within our own thing. Be constantly hearing my customers complain, or sometimes be half an hour late to the appointment. And I'm like wondering, like, oh my god, like what's going on? He's like, oh well, I found out the girl was all the way by Midway, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, she's sat in that traffic for like forever.
And outside definitely hard. But I'm super this is fun. I love that you're here. I want to learn more about your journey, but we're going to take a quick short break. So you guys have your questions ready and make sure you ask on the YouTubes and on the Facebooks. But definitely stay tuned because we're going to learn more about Julie and her story and why she does what she does.
I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley. This update brought to you by Hot Hands. In Naperville, a GoFundMe has been launched for the family of 53-year-old Stephen Weigensberg, who was shot and killed at his Arlington Heights workplace on Friday. Police say a co-worker, 53-year-old Juan Medina, took his own life after fatally shooting Weigensberg. The fundraiser aims to raise $40,000 to support Weigensberg's children and help cover immediate needs. Loved ones remember him as generous, community-minded, and deeply devoted to his family. Annually, Thanksgiving is the busiest travel holiday of the year, and this year is no different. Expect records to be broken with nearly 82 million traveling at least 50 miles from home, according to AAA. The domestic travel forecast includes an additional 1.6 million travelers compared to 2024, which sets a new overall record. It will mark the fifth straight year to see an increase in travelers compared to the prior year, following a major dip in 2020 due to the pandemic. Health officials are warning Illinois residents to expect a possible post-Thanksgiving bump in emergency room visits driven by COVID, RSV, and a newly mutated flu strain. A variant of influenza H3N2 called subclade K is spreading across North America and isn't covered by this year's flu shot. Experts say it can hit hard with classic flu symptoms striking suddenly. Right now, overall respiratory illness levels in Illinois remain low, but flu activity is rising slightly, and officials are watching wastewater data for a clearer picture later this week. In Aurora, police say the suspect in Saturday night's deadly shooting at the Two Brothers Roundhouse may have found the victim's location through social media. Officers confirmed 24-year-old Jasmine Barclay and 43-year-old Brian Heineman were killed, and a 33-year-old man remains in critical condition. Investigators say Heineman, who had previously dated Barclay, confronted the pair on an upstairs balcony before opening fire and then taking his own life. The Roundhouse has since reopened, and police are urging anyone affected by the tragedy to reach out to local crisis resources or share any information that could help the investigation. I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley.
Target's Black Friday deals are delivering big surprises all week long, like 40 to 50% off top holiday gifts, plus thousands more deals in-store and online, all with free shipping. Load up on all the season's must-haves with huge deals on tech, video games, toys, floor care, clothing for the family, and so much more. Hurry! These deals are going fast. 40 to 50% off gifts and Saturday. Only at Target. Free shipping applies to orders over $35.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast, brought to you by Hot Hands, America's favorite hand warmers. A wind advisory is in effect until 9 p.m. CST this evening. Today, a chance of snow showers with cloudy skies and a high near 34. Gusty winds up to 55 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 24. Currently, it is 33 degrees and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
The holidays are back at Starbucks, so share the season with a peppermint mocha. Starbucks signature espresso, velvety mocha, and cool peppermint notes, topped with whipped cream and dark chocolate curls. Together is the best place to be at Starbucks.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
It wasn't really till this year that I saw,
Yeah.
like, actually started getting to know you. So, what are the new endeavors that you're doing right now that you're focusing on?
So we do have a couple of new members on the team. Some of you guys may know B. B's been with us for, I want to say like 4 to 5 years already. She is our midway rep, and she just opened up another location at Back of the Yards at the Effortlets HQ headquarters. Now, one thing about there, what we were just talking about is that when she first started with us, there wasn't a lot of like workout places, like maybe one Zumba studio out of many, not too many gyms, access to like health and stuff. Well, now it's really transitioned where they're doing a lot of like this younger generation. Thoughts to you guys because you guys are taking that initiative. You guys are becoming personal trainers, and a lot of you guys have been opening up studios, starting run clubs, and it's been a whole transition in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I love that. You know what? Because I think, especially in the Hispanic community, I think there's a more awareness of
Mhm.
health and wellness.
Mm.
I don't think growing up that was something that was. I'm assuming
No.
we grew up around the same
Mhm.
time frame because you keep saying 90s, so I know I'm 87. I was born 87, right? So I'm a
Yeah.
90s baby. So what growing up, what did I hear, right? McDonald's. Like I don't remember
Yeah.
like that much.
Or just stop eating and that's how you get
Oh,
skinny.
yes. Yeah, that's a good point.
They never, I was always told, oh, tienes que perder peso. But how? The how part was never explained, no nothing.
Yeah.
I just had to learn how to lose weight. And I went through a lot of stuff. I was bulimic in high school. I was popping diet pills. Like I was just desperate because I didn't understand. And then I'm like, why am I fat? Well, it's our diet.
Yeah, the diet, especially I love Mexican food, and I'm sure you love
Oh,
Guatemalan
of
food, right?
course.
But
Yeah.
it's probably not the best
It's
sometimes.
it's tweaking out the ingredient. We
Correct.
use a lot of manteca.
Yeah, so a lot of grease, a lot of
Yeah,
lard.
lard. Yeah.
But it's so good. But how do you balance that out and keep your culture, right? Keep your food that you love and enjoy
Yeah.
all the
So
time.
me and my mom talk about this all the time. I was actually just asking her, because I want to learn how to make pan francés, which is a bread in Guatemala, but they use lard. And I'm like, oh God, mom, what can I use? She said we can use vegetable oils, certain things. So we always talk about just certain replacements like better oils, better carbs,
Yeah.
better sugars. We can still keep our traditional foods. It's just finding a healthier way to cook it.
Correct.
Hmm.
Substitutions, right? Which I think makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
And I've seen it even in like family members, right? Like if they're Muslim too, right? They can't eat the lard. So then when they make
Hmm.
tamales, what do they use? They use vegetable oil, right?
Hmm.
And that's the sub the
Hmm.
whatever they replace it with. But I love that, again, these conversations excite me because if people don't know, I'm really big on positive body image.
Hmm.
I am, at the end of the day, I say, yes, love your curves, love your body, but also we got to be healthy,
Healthy as well
right? We,
too.
we do need to be mindful because we don't
Exactly.
want the diabetes. We don't want the cholesterol. We don't want those things are real, right?
Yeah, well,
Very,
I had my first shocker with my first pregnancy. I gave birth at what, 21, 22, and I had gestational diabetes and I was young. But then that was my first pregnancy where I was allowing my family, you know how they love to overfeed the pregnant woman. Oh, she's pregnant. She's eating for two. Give her the huge
give
plate.
her
Oh,
everything, shove it down her
that
throat.
is so wrong. That is so wrong. And then too, like working out while you're pregnant. Oh, we're gonna kill the baby.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
My second
There's no,
pregnancy was a complete difference. It was a much healthier pregnancy. I worked out during my pregnancy. I just kind of like shut down all those stigmas. Like, I was young at first and I'm like pregnant.
you
So
don't
I'm
know
like, I
any
gotta listen.
better.
No, I'm like, I'm gonna listen to everybody and everything. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, no, but now as you get older, you're like, no, I got to make better decisions because this will affect me after
Mm-hmm.
as well, right?
21, 22, saying doctor telling me, well, you have gestational diabetes, so you or baby can have it. And if you don't take care of yourself, then you're going to be diabetic. And then I was like, but my father is diabetic. What do you mean I have the same thing that I'm young. I just started living. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's because I let my dad give me all those McDonald's, the Snicker bars.
Yeah.
He said it was for the baby. And then I'm like, okay, let me give it to the baby.
Yeah. You think
Yeah, I'm the one eating
yeah.
it.
Oh, I've always been a big, similar. Me in high school, I was always I was that athletic girl, right? And I think it was part because my parents always threw me out, like, go play, go outside, go in the
Yep.
street. I was, the
Yep.
90s kid that was always out there. I was always that tom girl, right? Or tomboy. I was always playing with the boys. So even as I got older, it was like, okay, how do I try to keep myself healthy, right? And trying
Yeah.
to find things to do. So I got into running.
Mhm.
And I haven't ran. I haven't ran at all this year. Like I've been so not on the running game, and I think it's more because I'm focused on other things. But for running 2 marathons, I would encourage women to come with me to go train. I would say, hey, just come with me and walk.
Yeah.
And that's where I started creating that group. It was called Fat Girls Run. And
Nice.
I know a lot of women hated the name. I know people hated the name Fat Girls Run, but I was trying to change the thought behind the word
Mhm.
fat. I was like, no, like embrace that word, right?
Yeah.
Because it is a hurtful word, right? People hate that word. But I was saying like I was trying to make it into an acronym like fearless, authentic, tenacious, right? Like
Uh-huh.
we're fat girls, we run. And the women that would come ended up becoming runners or ended up getting super healthy. And I'd be like, damn, like you outdoing me. You on 4 marathons now.
It's
I'm
like,
sitting there.
whoa, hold
How
on.
did that happen, right? But it's always what you're doing, like encouraging women with the fajas and the
Yeah.
sea moss. I know you're big on the sea moss. And
Yes.
just dressing for your body type. I think we need more women that are like you, that are like, hey, no, take care of yourself. Hey, no, do this. Hey, have you thought about that? I don't think there's enough of that, honestly.
I don't think we talk too much about preventative.
Mm.
I think we focus on our health once stuff goes wrong, once we get the bad news. But
Oh
we
my
don't
gosh, yeah.
think about, like, well, what about being healthy so I don't get bad news? And I tell people, I was like, yeah, organic food may be a little pricier, but you know what costs more money? The doctor bills, those medications. Have you realized how much a hospital stay costs? And then your insurance. Our insurance is kind of catered to our health, right?
They'll
So
go up. Yeah.
if we're unhealthy, we're paying more. If we're healthier, we're paying less. And then life insurance too. We're healthier, we're more valuable. We're less healthy, we're worthless. But that's the reality, people.
You're, you're not no good to me. You're healthy.
But it's the reality. It's like that's why I say I'm like the body's gonna come. Like the figure and everything comes when you focus on the health. Focus on the health part because that's where longevity comes from.
Yeah.
Right now I'm talking to my parents just bought their first gym at home
No.
and they've been doing their little workouts every day.
Good.
It's really cute. I'll call my mom. She's like, I just did my reps. Like, oh, never thought I'll hear my mom tell me she did her reps. Like but we're talking about the whole muscle mass. My parents are past 50 years old. So between 20 to 30, that's when we peak the highest for our muscle mass. That's when we are our strongest. We're like our peak. From like 30 to 40, where our growth in muscle starts to kind of like slow down.
Especially women.
Mhm.
Especially women.
We tend to mature a little faster than men do for some reason. And then from 50 years old, now we're losing muscle mass, which means now we're also losing protection for our bones. And that's
Yeah.
where I tell my parents now, you know how you can offset that if you lift weights and you work out. You can reduce the amount of muscle mass that you're losing and you can develop more muscle mass, which is going to help you for your joints because your bones can't move without your muscles. Your muscle is literally what's moving everything.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that you're doing that with your parents. We have Los also for those that are chiming in online. Just want to say hello, senor, because I know he's the one that connected us. So shout out to him and the Flavor
Yeah.
podcast. And the Fava Podcast Summit that he just had on Saturday. It was a great event. I know you were there.
Yes. Oh my God, Carlos, thank you so much for giving us the avenue. I wouldn't be podcasting or even doing anything like this. It all started with him.
Oh, that's
He
very
was like,
nice.
I need a co-host. Do you think you could do it? I'm like, I think I could stand there and talk for an hour. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, no, podcasting and media and radio. It's all I love all
Yeah.
that type of stuff. So I'm glad that you did that because it helps with the exposure, it helps bring more promo and helps with the PR. So that's awesome.
And then I feel like it helps give out information. Like, there's
Absolutely.
people that, like, perfect example, you give businesses the avenue for us to talk about. A lot of us know what we do, but they don't know how we got there or what even brought us. Like, every business, every brand has a story.
That they do.
And some of us may not market our stories. So, people might be intrigued, like, oh my God, that's why, like, the Gano Girls, they probably have a story as to why they started off with the coffee and why they're educating people on how you can heal yourself through coffee. But it starts with the story. Me, the Fajas, it started with me being a bigger girl. Now that I know I was going to end up here, no, I thought I was going to be like Coco Chanel, like designing all these dresses and everything. But I can make those dresses feel a lot better with our shapewear. I can help you modify your health and contour your body with our shapewear. So it might not be on the top, I'm on the bottom, but it's still important.
Oh, it's
Wear foundation.
it's still very and no, it's still very essential because I remember one time I was talking with somebody, and a lot of times people don't realize that everyone plays a very specific role on this earth, whether we accept it or not, right? Whether it's a huge role or a small role, you're still very needed, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's like your janitor, well, he is still very essential because someone needs to throw out that garbage, and he
Yeah.
plays a very important role in our lives. But we sometimes will see it lesser than because it's not like I'm not in the spotlight and I'm not in the mic and I'm not, but what you're doing with women is you're working specifically with women one on one. You're giving that personal touch. You're helping women feel confident, right? Helping them look good, feel good, and all that stuff. And then guess what? The husband's happy or the boyfriend's
Oh
happy,
my
right?
God.
The relationship, the kids are
When
happy,
they walk
right?
in, they're like, "Ugh, woman's the shop." But once they see that outfit or how the girls come out with their fajas on, oh, they open up those wallets real fast. How much?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
well,
And then all of a sudden, my girls come back pregnant.
oh no, that you can't wear that faja no more. You,
It's like, girl, what happened?
yeah, we know what happened. But you know what I even with all of that being said, with the fajas and the body positivity, I think it just plays this really important role in just helping women feel better,
Mhm.
right?
I like how when you brought up our roles in this earth, it made me think of the Tinkerbell movie,
Oh,
the first
yeah,
one, when she just didn't want to be a Tinker fairy and she
yeah,
just wanted to be every other fairy and she didn't understand that she had her specific role.
she did.
Because I'm gonna keep it honest. When I first started getting called the Faja lady, I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm gonna be known as? The Faja lady? And it was just so weird because again, I thought I was gonna be Coco Chanel and stuff. But now I'm like, I love that. I am the Faja lady. That is my role. I didn't know what my role was, and it just happened.
But it plays
Life just brought it together and here I am.
it plays a role, and I think a lot of times I was taught, people are going to follow you, and the reality is men like looking at pretty women and women like looking at pretty women. So because you look a certain way and you're attractive, you're going to attract women because they're going to want that, right?
Mhm.
They're gonna want to look good. They're gonna want to feel good. And that's the reality of like what it happens when we're leaders and out there, right? And there's such thing as pretty privilege. It's just, it's the
Yeah.
reality, right? And we have to take advantage of that, right? Um, but I was gonna also mention something that I saw today. Women are beauty is currency,
Mhm.
and I don't think people realize that. And this is not no shade at anybody, but I was watching a video and this guy was saying, like, my currency or like what brings me most value as a man is how attractive my wife is.
And it's crazy
And I was
because
like, oh,
especially now with social media and influencers and stuff,
yeah.
it's like highlight it even more.
Yeah, but then I also, and I tell this to also, like, when I'm coaching or I'm talking to like even men or women, it's like, do you realize that when you walk in a room full of entrepreneurs, the woman that's next to you representing you is your currency, and men are going to respect you based off the woman that's
Mhm.
next to you? Like, I don't think people realize the value of that. So, like, for women, I mean, a woman is smart, right? And then if she's attractive, it's even more of an advantage for her.
Mhm.
Just like, how do you use this, right? And how do you benefit your partner? How do you benefit or your husband, right? How do you bring more value to everything? I think it's deeper. It's real deep, right? But sometimes we don't really pay attention to these things. But like, I just wanted to add that because we were talking about like, beauty and
Yeah.
vanity. No, having a beautiful woman is a value to a man.
Like,
You
you know
want her
what,
to look
too?
good.
I always say when you put on your faja, I notice too, like with my customers, when they first walk into my shop, the first day I see them, they're shy, they're quiet. They don't even want me to measure them or let alone put the faja on them. I'm like, girl, it's okay. Like, don't worry. Like, if I got to take my shirt off too, I'll take it off at the same time so we can feel comfortable. But I'm like, just relax. Now, the second time when they come back to my shop, it's a completely different woman.
Okay.
Now they come dressed up. Now they want me to see them. Now they want me to measure them.
Aw.
But it's just like that little boost of energy. All it took was just to show them, like, just a little modification, what you can do. You can look just like this if you put a little bit of work to it. And then the change in the attitude. When you feel good, all of a sudden you start doing certain things that you were so scared to do before. Nothing changed. You just got a little more curves. Your knowledge is still the same. You're still the same person. Now you're just a little more braver to bring that out of you just because you feel a little better because you look a little better.
Yeah.
And it's weird how it kind of connects, but I notice a difference on my clients. Like, just the attitude. They go from shy to like now they're like, "Oh, hey girl, I'm here." And I love it. Like I woke her up. She's alive. Now she's going to be out there and do other things. And then, as women, I feel like men are the head of the household, but so are women because we control the household. We control what they eat, we control the health, we control everything.
That's a good
So
point.
if I can teach her how to be a little healthier, to care a little bit more, guess what she's going to take back home?
She's going to teach it to her
She's gonna
family.
to her family.
Definitely, she's going to be a catalyst.
Mhm.
And I think because typically, well, at least in the Hispanic
Mhm.
household, you're right. The woman is making the food, taking care
Mhm.
of the house, taking care of the kids, making a lot of the decisions. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. The men, you get the bacon, but she's the one deciding how it's gonna be cooked and everything and what time you're gonna eat it. No.
You're eating at 6 p.m., sir. I have over here my team laughing.
These guys
You
over
know,
here are like, "Oh,
stop
Lord."
denying it. You have a wife now. She tells you when to eat, when to shower. And you
He's
just
probably over there kinda like, "Oh, that's why she does all
yes,
this
damn, I
stuff."
didn't realize. But you know what? And it's okay. Whatever works for who's ever who your household, it's fine, right? No judgment here. But I think women do play like a big role
Big role,
in
yeah.
that. And if she is confident, she feels good, and she's eating healthy, she's trying to make her family eat
Mhm.
healthy. And I love that you're doing the vegan vegetarian journey.
Yes. So I was vegan for like 7 years. When I got in my relationship, it's different cultures. He was Cambodian, so I never had Cambodian food. So little by little, I started to eat a little meat. So I want to say in the last 2 years, I've been eating meat and I've noticed a huge difference in my body, how I feel,
Oh gosh, yeah.
everything. So I'm just reverting right back to vegetarian. It works best for me. I'm not pushy with my clients. I always tell them, like, if you ever want to try it or want some ideas, I'll be happy to share. But to each his own, always feel like you should visit a dietitian, figure out what are your deficiencies,
Yeah.
because that's what's going to depict what you eat. Our minerals and our vitamins come from our food, you guys. So if you have an iron deficiency, guess what? You're just going to eat more food that has more iron in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't pop pills. It's
Yeah.
literally in your refrigerator.
Yeah, you're right. And I think I was vegetarian for 2 years. I was trying to go vegan. I couldn't do the vegan part. Like the cheese was just so hard to let go.
Yeah, that cheese is
Uh,
the hard one.
but it was actually probably one of the best. I felt the best when I was doing the whole vegetarian stuff. And I remember like the moment I started incorporating meat again into my diet, how terrible I was feeling. right?
It is sluggish. I feel like it
Yeah.
slowed me down a lot.
Yeah. The one benefit of doing that for 2 years, I feel like, is, I don't eat as much meat as I used to before.
Mhm.
I'm more now like chicken,
Mhm.
red meats I've kind of like I still eat them, but, very not as
Yeah,
often
yeah.
as before. So I love and then sometimes it's like, "Well, do I really need meat today? Do I get" sometimes I just, "Okay, I'll stick with protein or
Yeah.
beans or"
We don't have to work. We've been taught that we have to eat meat every single day, and we don't. If you look at other cultures outside of America, they don't eat meat like that.
Oh god,
Maybe
yeah.
just for dinner, but here in America, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like 3
We have
times
to
a
have meat 3 times
day,
a day, yeah.
sometimes even in our snacks,
Well,
you know?
I think it's deeper. I think it's part of the agriculture and the marketing and the way that it's
Mhm.
promoted, right? And I think, I even have you ever watched Forks Over Knives?
No.
Okay, so Imma put you guys on some document
Yeah, please.
Forks Over Knives, and then another one is, I don't wanna say it's called Spartan. Spartan, it's there's another you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah. Um,
What
it's
what's
a
it
it's meat eating, and it has to do with a lot of bodybuilders and
Yes.
stuff and seeing the reaction between vegan yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that one as well. Seen not the forks one, the first one I haven't seen.
Forks Over Knives is what made me go vegetarian. And then the one with the Spartans, that one, that documentary was like the strongest man on earth is a vegan.
Uh-huh.
So it was like
There's actually an African tribe that are very strong men, and they're all vegan. And I think it was reflected in the, oh my god, what was that Marvel movie? Wakanda? Black Panther. There was a tribe there too that was kind of referencing that, but there is like an African tribe. They're all vegan and they are strong and healthy.
yeah, because there's other ways of saying and we
Mm.
don't beans, right? Potatoes.
Mhm.
You don't need to go to
Mushrooms, yeah.
there's other you know? But I think this is great. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, Suli, where would they go to get in touch?
You guys can find me all over social media. You can find me under Doll Revolution on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, or Suli Doll, SULIDOLL. That's my personal page. You can find me on my Snapchat, yeah, or you can visit our shops. We're located actually in the Outlet Market, 3635 plus. They're members of our team. So who wants to go through? Yeah, me too. Yeah, I went to Hagen and then on to my
Oh my
Oh,
god. Oh my god. Fine. But yeah, so guys can uh
3635 West Road. Right on Monticello. We have Black Friday sales going on, guys. 30th. Okay.